can take out several units at once or guarantee hitting something like an onager. With some halberdiers and skirmishers out front, maybe a few monks to convert tough units and heal some of yours, it's a tough combination to fight against. Moving on from the base game though, let's take a look at the HD expansion changes. The new Castle Age unique tech is Yasuma. I did a video that just focused on the tech, but it's been changed quite a bit in patch 4.8 as part of a big rebalancing effort, and it appears as if they'll end up being weakened significantly. Yasuma adds 2 extra arrows to all towers, and its companion tech, Arrow Slits, has been moved from the Castle Age to the Imperial Age and gives half the attack boost that it did previously. Unfortunately, patch 4.8 is pretty recent as of this video coming out, so things might still change. But the effect of all these things as they stand right now is a reduction in the theoretical damage of each shot from 54 damage per round of firing to 39, or about 28% less. As I found before, only the first arrow is affected by arrow slits, so having that doesn't really affect Japanese towers as much as you might think. Taking what we can into account to get a more realistic value, if we assume a unit has 5 armor and that the extra arrows are around 60% accurate, when we factor it all in, we see a 30% drop in the expected damage output. So I would say at the moment they're about a third of the power of the castle instead of half like they were before. That still makes them much better than a regular civilization's tower. An older change that they still have as well is the addition of bloodlines, which I think is the most significant difference from the base game and has a big effect, especially on their night rush potential. Also in the 4.8 patch, they get Treadmill Crane, which isn't a huge tech for them, but might be helpful for building towers, along with just houses and barracks and everything else. They also have the Gold Shaft mining tech added, which makes gold miners 15% faster in the late game. Considering that their late game economy is generally seen as one of their larger weaknesses, I think this is a nice change for them as well. African Kingdoms also has the arson technology, which gives infantry an extra 2 attack against buildings, and as an infantry civilization, that's a helpful one to pick up for the Japanese, though you might not need it in Castle Age itself, considering Japanese have good archers and now knights with bloodlines. Don't forget the towers with Yasuma can be quite decent as well, so Japanese end up with a lot of options in the mid to late Castle Age. Most of that flexibility also isn't from the bonuses so much as the actual tech tree itself. Speaking of the tech tree, let's have a look at that, starting with the archers. For being considered an infantry, navy, and sort of a tower civilization in the expansions, the archers are pretty solid as well. All the archer units and techs are available, including Arbalest, Hand Cannoneer, Parthian Tactics, and the Blacksmith upgrades. We also have the wood bonus at the start of the game to help in Archer Rush. Without a bonus for the archers specifically, I'm going to say it's a B+. I do think they deserve a lot of credit for the flexibility of a strong archer rush, fully upgraded cavalry archers in the expansions, and the hand cannoneer, though again, none of those are top tier. Now let's take a look at their infantry. As we saw, their attack rate bonus gives them top or near top tier champions and halberdiers. The samurai is arguably an even better alternative to the already powered up Japanese champion, and also has the advantage of a large bonus against all other unique units. They're right up there at the top of the infantry world with Goths, but for different reasons, Japanese being high in quality and Goths high in quantity. I think if I'm being honest with myself, I have to give a distinct edge to Goths. We got an A+, and give the Japanese an A. The samurai is a lot like the champion after all, which didn't really need replacing to begin with, while the Huskarl really has its own place in the Age of Empires world and brings something totally unique, which I think you need for the highest possible score in infantry. Moving on to the cavalry, this is where things drop off. There's no Hussar, Paladin, Camels, or Final Cavalry armor. In HD and Age of Conquerors, they're also missing bloodlines. The early bonus is arguably a bit of a boost to getting a scout rush going, but in general, cavalry is not a great option at any point in the game. I'm going to say it's a passing grade of a C for cavalry, because they do get a few options, but it jumps up to a B in the expansions with the addition of bloodlines. Cavalry usually plays a pretty big role in countering archers and siege, so they have to be a bit more creative in using either rams or trebuchets as a counter to those. Speaking of which, next up is siege. No bombard cannon, siege onager, or siege ram is a rough start. They do have siege engineers, and don't forget about the faster firing and unpacked trebuchets. trebuchets. I find onagers with the +1 range is enough for most games, and I'd give them a B for siege
Đất
overall.
chết rồi.
You don't have to top and workshop the units, but there's more than
Chưa mất
enough to
một
get
tí
the
mà
basic
không nghe cái tên
counters.
nào.
And the trebuchet can play the role
Có
of
cái
the
xe này
bombard
đúng không?
cannon to counter enemy onagers, so you'll find you don't miss them as much as other civilizations will. Now let's take a look at the Navy.
Rồi.
Right out of the gate, you have the fishing ship bonus, and the whole team has the extra galley line of sight. You also have the early wood bonus, so the Japanese start off quite well on the water. I'd say it's an A for the early water rush and fish boom. In the late game, the only things you're really missing are the heavy demo ship and heated shot. You still have the extra fishing income potentially and the extra line of sight, but without any Navy bonuses, I think they're more of a solid B+ in the post-Imperial Age for an A- overall on the water. Taking a quick look now at the monks, the only thing they're missing is heresy, which isn't a huge deal for the Japanese, since your units will tend to be cheaper and aren't countered very well by monks. With all the techs and a nice early eco boost, I'd say it's a B+. They're not really a monk rushing civilization, though there's no reason they couldn't do that or shouldn't go for monks in general. Next up is defenses. There's fortified walls, keeps, and masonry, but that's about it. There's no bombard tower, architecture, heated shot, treadmill crane, or hoardings in the base game. It would be a C in terms of university techs, but I find Japanese are actually surprisingly good at countering units with other units. Between great halberdiers and monks for cavalry, hand cannoneers and arbalest for infantry, fully upgraded skirmishers and onagers with siege engineers against archers, trebuchets against enemy siege, and a flexible, quickly created unique unit. It feels like there's a really good answer for everything, which I think helps out a lot when we're talking about defenses. So I'm gonna say it's a B-
Mấy mày ngu quá nên thôi mình kết thúc video. Bye.
In the expansions, they get all of that